Hey y'all, welcome to Botox and Booze. We're here tonight with Dan Schmidt. Dan is the co-founder of Intermountain Health and Wellness, and for us, Dan is Dan the man.
Dan the man.
Dan the man. Dan is who we go to for all things stem cell or CBD. He is an expert in both. Thank you for coming, Dan.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Let's have a toast, 'cause we don't care.
Patient at MC Aesthetics, or if you know me, have ever met me, ever heard of me, you've heard that I'm really excited about stem cells.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Definitely.
It is, for me, I think we all have these moments in our careers, and Dan, you've probably experienced what I'm talking about, where you've been doing what you're doing for a while and you're doing the thing, but then what's the next thing? For me, stem cells did that. It changed my practice, it changed my heart, changed my whole outlook on medicine and the future. And that is where you come in.
Yes, well, I've been doing aesthetics for a long time in the medical field, as far as in really even in training docs and training other professionals, also in the production and manufacturing of specific equipment just for aesthetics and aesthetic use. And what's really interesting over time, we talk about, and people have heard about, fat transfers that we're doing with plastic surgeons. We talk about PRP like it's a brand new thing, and that's been around for years. In fact, I was in Hawaii picking up some herbs in Hawaii where I couldn't get elsewhere, but there on this board was this Chinese guy, and he had been all these letters and thank yous of things on there, and they've been injecting PRP into the knees for over 3 decades. Mm-hmm. And here it is, we're here in the United States, and we're like, ooh, excited, I got PRP, a little platelet-rich plasma, for those of you who don't know what it is. But they take your blood, spin it, and it does work, and it is very effective, but stem cells is even that much more better than what we've had before. So it's that even greater.
It is the what's next. We've been doing PRP, like you say. I think a lot of people don't even appreciate that yet, and we're already throwing stem cells at y'all. And I know that in West Texas, we like to joke that things hit us last out here. And I feel like that with this. I really do. I feel like all this amazing stuff has been out here, but even here, but everywhere in the U.S. It's almost like the mindset wasn't ready, the shift wasn't there yet into the more natural, the future, and the autologous heal yourself from within by yourself.
Correct. We
just weren't interested in that. And I don't know why, but now we are.
We are. And we've always, in our medicine, we've always been taught drugs, things of that nature are always going to be the things that really heal us. But what we haven't talked about is our body's natural pharmacy, and that's what we have. Our body's designed to injure to repair. That's what it does. Just like going to the gym. It's the neatest analogy. When you go to the gym, you injure your muscle tissue. Mm-hmm. Guess what happens? We give our body what it needs, and actually builds and supports even better. When we get into, say, for example, our immune systems. Kids right now, and they're talking about an alarming rate because they use so many antibacterials and everything else, that kids are getting sick faster, because what it does, it takes away its natural ability of our immune system to fire and work properly. So by doing these things, we're not actually introduced to bacteria and viruses for our bodies to fight itself, so it becomes weakened. When we look at it this way, we do the same thing with aesthetics, right? We injure to repair. Whether that's a microneedling process, whether it's a laser process, whatever it is, we're injuring the skin to say to the body, I've been injured, now I need its natural ability to heal. That's all we're doing.
Healthy damage. I say it all the time.
Correct.
We're doing some healthy damage.
And that's right. That's not like staying out in the sun and getting sunburned. Not healthy damage.
Yeah, right.
But what we're doing here, it is. Mm-hmm. And so when we can accelerate it, and just to say something that's kind of fun, because we hear these terms, PRP and stem cells, and we really don't know what they are. PRP, platelet-rich plasma, simply done. We take a little blood out of the, doc comes in, nurse comes in, they take a little blood out, they spin it. What happens is it then actually has a higher concentrated of platelets, which are the healing factors that actually go in.
50 times growth factors, healing, regenerative.
So now we get those growth factors body's trying to do, we just get it faster. When it comes to stem cells, we're doing the same thing. We're getting something that's much more potent in that area that we need the healing process done.
So when we say stem cells, I think that I want to start at ground zero. People don't know what they are. Where are you getting the stem cells from? What kind of stem cells are they that we're using here, and why does that matter? I think people are afraid to put something foreign into their bodies. That's the number one thing. I want you to talk a little bit about that aspect of stem cells.
Well, they should be. Of course,
Absolutely.
That's a natural thing that we need to know. Whenever we're putting anything in our body, we want to know what it is, what it comes from, and so forth. So when it comes to it, Michael J. Fox way back when, and I hope I can mention names. I don't know on
for
here.
his Parkinson's.
Yeah, for Parkinson's. And he went into the government, and they, regulatory and things of that nature, and they started talking about all these things. Well, at the time, we hear adult stem cells, and we heard embryonic stem cells. Okay, completely different. Mm-hmm. So embryonic, there's moral, ethical issues, and when people hear stem cells, they think aborted fetuses. Where is this coming from? That is not used in the United States, cannot be used. It is illegal, moral, ethical issues, along with other issues, which we won't get into here, but a little more complicated. But when we talk about adult stem cells, there's different areas to get adult stem cells. So at our clinic and things of that nature, I train docs, or we have trained doctors that come out and they train other doctors as far as stem cell therapies, how they work, what they do, different types. Basically put, when you talk about adult stem cells, a lot of people are really we talk about getting it from bone marrow or from adipose, which is a nice name for fat. And people say, I've got a lot of fat, take whatever you want, right?
Take it.
But what happens is, how really effective are they? As far as how have they been kept in the body? Do we have enough of them? When we take them, are they toxic in a toxic environment like fat? Unfortunately, they are. So when they do a harvest that, or they take it from your iliac crest, which for bone marrow, and that's been done for decades, and they spin that, and then they actually reintroduce that back in the body area of injury. That's what's happening. Same thing with fat. We'll take it out of one area, or they'll take it out of I don't take it out, but they take it out of that area and then spin it, and then they get a centrifuge, and then they actually reintroduce it back in. And that's what happens. So now we have a higher concentrate of stem cells in that area of injury.
Right. So when we talk about non-specific day zero stem cells, why does that matter? Why is that important? The kinds of stem cells that we're introducing.
Viability of what we have. Okay, and so what happens is we also can get stem cells, we talked about those two, but from perinatal products. Perinatal products actually come from afterbirth.
Right.
And what comes from placental tissue, it can come from cord blood, it can come from also the cord itself. Mm-hmm. And they are different among those as well. Cord blood is really going to only become blood cells. They're red and white blood cells, and that's what they are. That's what they'll become. Right. When we talk about placental tissue, there are what we call MSCs, mesenchymal cells. Mesenchymal stem cells are messenger cells in there, but are they viable, or are they more of just a booster of sorts? We'll get into that in a minute. And then we also have from umbilical cord, and specifically in the Wharton's jelly in that area, that's where we have the most plentiful source of these MSCs. And so when we talk about these, and especially out of the Wharton's jelly area of the umbilical cord, your body can't reject them. They're immune privileged. So when they're introduced, the body says, I have no problem with it. It's what I normally try to get, and now I just get them in a much greater amount. So they're viable, they're youthful, they are robust and regenerative.
So if you're introducing stem cells that can, if I'm introducing stem cells and I have an injury, if I introduce them top of my head and I have an injury at the bottom of my toe, do stem cells go where stem cells are needed? Excellent question.
So our body, we have stem cells in our bodies everywhere we go, mm-hmm. fat and also in our bone marrow. When we're younger, and this is kind of interesting to go through, when we're younger, 1 in 10,000 in our cells, in our body, 1 in 10,000 are actually these MSCs, our body's natural pharmacy. When we get older, up in the 60s, 50 in the 60 range, it's actually 1 in 2.5 million. So steadily, downhill, downhill, downhill. We feel that every decade. And if you're not very old, you'll feel it. Yeah. And so when we get injured, when we're younger, we have a lot more stem cells that go in for the body to call, and it has what they call a paracrine effect. There's actually a chemical reaction that happens. It says, I'm injured, I need help. Think of it this way. When we get a cut on our skin, it takes 7 to 10 days for that to really heal. Our body's sending out a signal saying, hey, I need stem cell, I need help in this area. We don't even think about it. Put a Band-Aid on, 7 to 10 days later, we're good to go, right? But what happens is when we have an injury, we've ripped a ligament, tendon, or we've done something or area of damage. It's calling for that stem cell. It just can't get there fast enough or heavy enough as we get older. Does that make sense?
It does. So we can use your PRP, and that's going to give you all those growth factors, that amazing, those platelets. This is the liquid gold that we talk about so much up here. We can take that and we can put that into your joint, and we can help to regenerate that area. Or we can up our game and go next level and use stem cells. It's going to be a much more powerful approach and a more healing, aggressive approach. Right?
It is. Well, when we talk about PRP, they're not really stem cells.
Right.
And unfortunately, in the industry, and some doctors don't even know, they call them that, or they're advertised as stem cell.
Adult
they're
stem
not.
cells.
Yeah, they're not. They're not stem cells.
Exactly.
So they're not these MSCs that we talk about. But they are very effective. These MSCs and PRP can be very effective, and it is used in the right manner.
Well, and a lot of the time we use them together because you've got to have a vehicle for your stem cells. So here at MC Aesthetics, whenever you get intra-articular injection into an injured or damaged joint, we're actually combining your stem cells with a little bit of PRP, your own PRP. That's the vehicle. And we just like to do that for that additional regeneration and healing. I do want to talk a little bit more about the MSC, the mesenchymal stem cells. That's what we're doing here at MC Aesthetics, and we have this really amazing stem cell facelift that we do for our patients. And we're using those, I don't know where I found this amazing stem cell gun and all this amazing stuff, but it's what I'm seeing. Oh my gosh, Nick, can you even, some of our patients.
As far as anti-aging and, facials,
It's fabulous. It's, and that's one of the things, we want to stay younger longer. And that's what we're really looking for. A fountain of youth is to keep your body as young as it can, as best as we can.
Stem cells are the only true fountain of youth that we have right now, other than drink your water and stem cells. Those are the only fountains of youth that I can think of.
Right? Well, the three: sugar, sun, and smoking. Those are your three non-to-dos. I hate to say it, but they're all really hard on the skin. But we have to live our lives as well. So we can't just avoid the sun, or I can't just avoid sugar, but to a certain extent. But if we can actually keep our skin younger longer, and really what we're honestly doing with people is we all look at someone else and go, I want to be like that. I want to be like them. I want to look like that. No, you don't. You want to look like you. You want to be the best you. How can I do that? By actually doing what you guys are doing here, which actually keeps you younger longer, and it's the best you can do for your genetic makeup. And that's what I tell everybody. How can I look like that? Keep your genetic makeup as young as you can, as long as you can. And that's the true secret. And there is no one-time fix.
That's
None.
it. Well, and that's the other thing. We have, for example, we have one patient here at MC Aesthetics who she's had more stem cells than anybody ever met in my life, I think, at this point. But everything that she was a great patient for us to kind of start our stem cell journey with here, because at this point we've done it IV, we've done stem cell facelift, she's had intra-articular injection, she's had hair restoration, she's had multiple intra-articular injection.
And for those that don't know what that is, that just means into a joint.
We're going to go into that damaged joint.
Yep. Whether that be knees, and a lot of times people have problems with knees as we get older, a lot of pressure, a lot of activity, things of that nature. We start getting arthritic changes. We start to get wear into the cartilage, and as you get wear into the cartilage, the body tries to protect that, and what it does, water gets in there, and we get those arthritic changes. We start to feel worse and things of that nature. And what's interesting is stem cells, and I didn't mean to jump into that, but for those that don't know what that is, that's what happens. It's our aging process. And the problem that we have in our bodies is that as we start losing the decline, as we talked about earlier, of those MSCs, those special messengers, and that's one of the things everyone in the industry is starting to talk about, rather than mesenchymal stem cell, we're moving to more of a messenger cell. It's telling the body what to do. But what happens with that is, as it starts to get a decline, when we start to get wear and tear, guess what? Most of those are done by blood or are transferred so it can actually get to that area. And as we start losing, the body kind of goes, I don't want to give up everything. So cartilage is not very blood, there's not a lot of circulation. It's not going in there. So
it's not vascular.
That's right. So when the body says, hey, I've had an injury, that's why it doesn't really rebuild that. It says, I'm pretty much full grown. I don't need that. I'm not going to need it. I'm going to specialize in what I need. Bone, ligament, tendon, those kind of things, and repair the skin. So that's why our bodies will build a bone chondrocyte or bone spurs faster than it will, even though it wants to actually regrow cartilage.
Gotcha.
So that's why we get bone spurs. Well, I got a bone spur. Why is that? Because it's easier for the body to build bone chondrocyte than it is to actually go and do these other things. So when we call back fusions, that's why back fusions happen. We do 40% of everything we do are actually injections into that, because what happens over time, it just wears and wears and wears. The body says, I'm going to fuse that vertebrae so I don't have a problem. When that happens, then there's failure above and below. So that's what happens. So now we're giving the body what it needs before it has to go into that next phase.
And I think that is a really good point, Dan, because like we talk about like my neck. I've had neck surgery. I've had herniated discs for over a decade, severe pain, can't sleep on my graveyard of pillows.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
It's my thing that has bothered me for half my life. I am upset a little bit that I'm in the age group that I'm in.
No, you're not.
No, I'm just going to make this age better. But I love the fact that our millennials have embraced this the way that they have. And I think that they are an important component in that shift that we're seeing in aesthetics.
Definitely.
Don't y'all?
Yeah.
The prevention and more about yourself and preserving what you have instead of worrying so much about correction. We didn't watch our moms get Botox and fillers.
No.
These guys are.
Yeah. And one of the things that you brought up, a great point, is we wait till we have a problem or a symptom before we do it. I'm just going to go to dental work. You don't wait to go and have a root canal before you go in. But we do that with our joints. We wait until I can't even move, or you'll go into the doc and you'll go, hey, I looked at this, I got a lot of arthritis, you're actually getting close to bone on bone, just take some medicine, and until that time, and then we'll do your knee replacement. Oh, you'd never do that with your doc. Oh, you know what? Let me see your tooth there, Marcy. Oh, yeah, just put a little Oragel on that, and when it starts getting too bad, I'll give you some pain pills, and when it gets that bad, we'll just pull out your tooth. You'd never do that. But we do that every day with our joints. And I get really passionate about this. We don't have to wait. When we start getting older, who should do this? We should do it, when we start, before we really start to get in that degradation or that total loss.
So you can actually
I'd be for it. I'd be a proponent of it.
Well, you can avoid surgical intervention if you catch this early enough and heal yourself. That's the whole thing. It's heal yourself from within. Why do you want? I don't want anything else in my body. I don't want an artificial knee. I don't want knee surgery. I want to be cut on as little as possible, and I want to stay as much of me as possible too. So when you bring that point up, and hopefully we're not boring. So when it comes to this, I get excited. But one thing about this is that when you talk about that is that we want to give it early enough. Our body's asking for it. The problem is that we can go to, and we choose to do the perinatal products. And why the perinatal products, we talked about the afterbirth product, is because your body's putting out what we call a paracrine effect. We talked about this earlier. I'm injured, I need help on my skin or wherever that may be, my joints. And what's happening is I'm injured, I need that help. It's trying to draw from our bone marrow or our adipose, where our body keeps those stem cells, and getting it to that area. So there's a chemical reaction. As that chemical reaction is happening, it's trying to draw from that. We have less, so we can't really get that. When you do, say for example, a stem cell, and people say, I did stem cell therapy. Well, they're getting it from their adipose or from their bone marrow, spinning it, and when you take it, then they take that concentrate and then reintroduce it. Well, what we've done is really done one thing, is cause an area of injury. I've now created one area of injury in that spot to go and help another. So what is left, if you think about this normally, I've now got two areas these stem cells have to go to repair. So it'd be like having a basketball team or a football team and going, hey, I'm just going to have all these guys out there and I'm going to keep playing them and I'll just throw balls.
I'm going to throw them, just keep going. Rather than going, you know what, I've got a lot of great players that are now ready to go. They're fresh legs. I'm going to put them in along with my other guys. So now you're actually, when we use the afterbirth products, good afterbirth products, and we can talk about that later, and then now they're only facilitating what you already have. So your body says, I have what I need. I have robust cells that are ready to go and help me out. The body can do its natural function. We're not doing anything but, and this is an amazing thing, people that are doing this, docs and things of that nature, are not doing anything more than giving your body what it naturally needs. That's it.
What it wants
That's
to
it.
heal.
And the body does the rest. How successful that is, that depends on your natural genetic makeup, what you're using as far as those products. And the one thing is that we know, and have you seen, it really can't hurt anybody if you're using the right products. The only thing that the real downside is, will it do enough for me?
Mm-hmm.
That's the only
I'll have
downside.
to do it again.
Yeah, and financially, those are the two things. And right now, those are the things that really are doing it. But who's pushing that? Thank you to really these professional athletes, and I don't have to mention all who they are, but you can win a Super Bowl by using some stem cells and some things, and it has been used and have been used for years. It's just that it's been so expensive for the normal individual to go and have that done. It was just too expensive. But thankful to them and all that they did, those prices have come down. So now we can actually afford to actually do some of these things.
Well, and that's just it. Like I was talking about that patient here she's the only person I know who's done more stem cells than me. Honestly.
You know who you are.
Don't leave me in a room by myself. Yeah, we know. But one of the things that I like, and I don't know what's wrong with me, Dan. I think I am what is wrong with everybody watching. My mindset is the same problem. I'm doing stem cells. I'm excited about stem cells. I have had them myself. And I know what they've done for me. My goal is for every member of my family to have stem cells before the end of the year. I've said it, 3/4 of the way done. Why? I don't know why. Preventatively. Because why not? Because I don't know what's wrong inside their bodies and inside my little people. I don't know what's the matter with them. But if I can do this preventatively and be proactive, I want to. Having said all of that and how much they cost, and I'm willing to spend all that money, I still watch my patients and think, is this gonna work? Like that's my feeling is, I just don't see how. I know how, but it's hard for me to connect the dots, and I don't know why we struggle with this. Seen it firsthand. I have seen a woman who literally had zero range of motion with her left shoulder. The funniest thing, she told me one time that whenever she walks a long way, her husband has to hold her left boob up for her because it gets too heavy. So, okay. But now she can actually reach all the way over, and she has full range of motion. And that was from one intra-articular injection with.
So if you think about it, all you did is give the body what it naturally needed to heal. And that's, and I'm going to go into a little bit. As we talk about this, and there's things, and we're not, this is in no way are we saying,
Every patient's going to get that response.
Yeah, we want to be careful because we're not saying we're actually doing. It's not a treatment. You know what I mean? We're doing a health and
wellness. It's
health and wellness.
Preventative.
Yeah, exactly. Because this is not done as a treatment per se. It's done by doctors saying, "Hey, I want to do this" or whatnot, and being able to do that.
It's experimental. Still.
To a certain extent. It used to be called experimental. Now they actually accept it as, it's okay, we understand it, but it's not covered by insurance and not insurance-based or anything of that nature. But when we do these health interventions, or health introductions, it is more of what it is. And when we do that, the body says, I can go ahead and repair. When you look at things, and as I talk to individuals, it's like over time our body starts at degradation. In fact, when we're younger, we think our body's at 100%. Well, we may only be, our genetic makeup only at 70. We may be 80, we may be 100. But when we're younger, we think, man, I'm 100%. But as we start to age, it starts to decline, right? And I'm going to use knees because a lot of people know about knees. Yes. We start getting older. All that pressure, running, exercising, all those things that happen. Over time, we get that wear and tear. All of a sudden, that cartilage starts to wear, and also we get to that point and it says, you know what? It starts to hurt. Well, at what point is that? Is that we start going from 100%, 90, 80, 70, 60, and then all of a sudden at maybe 55%, we start going, man, my knees are aching. Why is that? Well, if the body can help bring that back up, whether that bring more cartilage, is that 5%? Is it 10%? Is it 15? Is it, what percentage is that going to go back up? We don't know. But what we are finding is that people are out of pain. They're able to move. They're able to do the things that they couldn't do. They're back to their normal lifestyle, whether that's an athlete, as you see a professional athlete, or just a professional at home person. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be an athlete. Moms are athletes every day. I'm sorry, they're out running, grabbing, doing everything. Grandmothers, hello, how many times now are, we talk about being younger, but we need that energy. We need to be able to do, move and function. So is that 5, 10, 15%? How long is it going to last? We don't know how long it took us to actually drop, right? But what's interesting is so we can't say that, or you can't say that, right? And so we really can't, people come in and say, I want to know, is this going to work? And how long is it going to work?
I was just kidding. If I said yes, I was just kidding.
And so, but what's interesting about this is if you're going for knee surgery, they'll say you get a new knee. Well, you can't say you're going to have this or not. You're not getting a new knee. You're getting a new knee replacement.
Right.
But they say that, and that's somewhat misleading. There's a lot of times that there's failures or other problems and other things that occur with that.
Nothing's
and so they're not,
100%.
and you're not getting a new something. But what we're doing is we can't say that. But what we've seen, and when I talk about clinics and things and doctors that we do, we're seeing upwards of 70% to 75% increase as far as where they're really happy. Not just improvement, but like, I feel great.
Quality of life.
I'm doing really good.
75% increase in their quality of life. That's
so
amazing.
We're seeing that. And so that's kind of how we judge that. How long it lasts, we don't know. But what we've seen so far, what we're looking at right now, activity and getting back and doing your normal activities and fun and exercising and running for that athlete, whatever you may be, has been extremely successful.
So when people are coming in for these things, what should they expect? Excellent
question. And that's one of the things, no matter where they go or whatever they're looking at, right? And one of the things I love about what you guys do, and it's what I do. And when they come in, they can be unafraid. They're not just coming in to, you're going to have stem cells, it's going to cause. It's coming in to actually have a consultation. Mm-hmm. What does this work? How does it work? How could it help me? Those kind of questions. And one of the things is also setting proper expectations. Does it work for everybody? The answer is no. If you have I want to be really clear with this because, one of the things I love about you guys is if it's not going to work, you guys are going to say, I'm sorry, no. You're not a candidate. Not everybody is a candidate, but a lot are. And so what is the difference on that? If there's something that's mechanical, if there's something that, if you have a torn ligament off the bone, stem cells are not going to work. They're not going to put it back, okay?
Surgery.
That doesn't work. Surgery is really required. And there's certain things that, like I say, are mechanical or structural that stem cells aren't going to do. Other than that, can stem cells help? Absolutely. But setting that proper expectation, because there's a lot of people that are out there that are doing stem cells, and they're doing perinatal products, but they're doing umbilical cord or cord blood. Are there problems with some of those? The answer is yes. Are they going to be as effective as the others? The answer is really no. And so knowing what you're getting and the money that you're spending, it's vital. And that's what's great about coming into you guys. Ask the questions. Don't be afraid to come in, talk. It's not going to be a big sales job. It's all about giving you the proper information. Once you have that proper information, you can make the decision for yourself. And that's one of the things that hold people back. It's like, is it good? Come in, find out what the differences are, ask those questions, and your staff is great at that, and you're great at that.
Well, I'm so glad you said that because the reason that we're doing all of this fun, innovative, cutting edge stuff is because I jumped on a plane and came to Salt Lake City and I talked to you and you were exactly like I am. You get so excited that it like oozes out of you.
I'm holding my passion back now.
I know, same, all the time. So that you're going to get that. When you come in here, these are things that we are so excited about, guys. We're excited about stem cells. We're excited about CBD. And it's overwhelming for us. I mean, I realized today that I've got some staff members who don't know all the new things, right, that just got here. Like it's fast, it's overwhelming. You're gonna have to catch up. That's why we're doing the podcast. But I do want to talk some more about CBD. That will air next week, and we will see y'all then.